Hello, everyone. Yvonne here. I'm representing African Fashion Week, and I am having a very exciting conversation with our student designer competition from different years. We're going to have them introduce themselves, starting from Miss Beta. Go ahead.
Hi guys, my name is Leila. My brand is Miss Beta. I participated on Africa Fashion Week 2014 and I won.
Nice.
And I'm so excited to be here.
Same. I'm so excited that you joined us, Miss Beta, and I can't wait to chat with you. Next up, we have Kyle Gervasi. I was just corrected about that. How are you doing, Kyle?
Hi, I'm fantastic. Thanks for asking. How are you?
I'm great.
Amazing. So guys, I am my brand and name, Cal Javasi. I participated in African Fashion Week Student Design Competition 2015 and I won.
Ooh, okay.
That sounds yeah. Yeah. So I was the third designer to win the competition. And thanks for having me.
I'm glad, and I can't wait to chat as well. Next up, we have Sadi. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. Actually, I go by Fresh Empire.
Ooh, okay.
My name is Fresh Empire. My background is actually Tanzanian, and I won in 2017 competition. Yes. Yeah, and I'm just so happy to be here with you all to share this experience.
Same. I'm very excited to have I just want to keep just to see where everyone's been, and I'm looking forward to it. Go ahead, Miss Eugenia, aka Kwale.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Eugenie, aka Nikwale, and I was the winner of the Student Design Competition 2018. And I'm just glad to be here. I can't wait to have this conversation with you guys.
Welcome.
Nice. Yeah. Welcome everyone. So we're just gonna go around the room, through this whole chat. We're just gonna be discussing how life has been for everyone after the competition, participating in other shows, how that's going, and also in regards to sales, how's that going as well? Is it something that you find profitable in this market or in this current industry here in Canada, or do you find businesses is booming outside, all of that stuff, and also how the current pandemic has impacted you, if in a way it's giving you more room to be more creative, or it's just negatively impacted you. But we're going to just have all of that conversations while enjoying ourselves and having fun. I hope everyone's had dinner. If not, then I'm sorry. We're gonna be done soon. But yes, let's start off with our friend, our most recent on the call winner, Carly. How has it been for you? I feel like you've been in the industry, you've been killing it. I've seen you everywhere. I've seen you at New York Fashion Week. I've seen you I've seen a bunch of shows. I think Montreal as well. So how has it been for you after the competition?
After the competition, it was really cool. It kind of went from one day to another, and it was a drastic change. Right after you win, everybody wants to know who you are. Everybody wants to know what you're doing next and all that. And it was really fun to get to meet all of the past winners too. I met all of you guys there. And yeah, you guys just took me in as if I was you guys, I've known you guys forever, But yeah, it's been really tough after the pandemic, just because, I don't know, people don't have money to buy clothes. And so it's difficult for them to actually come and be oh, people are very interested in buying clothes all the time, but then they don't have the money to actually, get it.
Yeah.
I find that difficult.
Yeah, no, I get that completely. I find that African Fashion Week is this platform that once you step on it, there's so much exposure coming to you, and then you have to make sure that you have to make sure that whatever comes at you, you're able to just take it on. If you have people coming to you that want to buy your clothes, if you have people coming to you that just want to just connect with you and just keep following your journey. Like there's just so much I find that the platform comes with when you showcase, when you share, because everyone's like, oh my gosh, that outfit, I wanted, that designer, I wanted. And I think like you mentioned, right? A lot of people would love to buy or would love to wear your stuff, but then there's also the discussion about how much it's going to cost and how expensive it is, right? So sometimes I find like I'm sure most of us in this room would find that a similar problem where it's hard to sell the craft. I would say it's hard to sell the craft because at times the idea of the conversation of cost comes in play, and it's so hard to then say, okay, you know what? I really, want you to rock my stuff as well, so I'll give it to you at a discount. So it's just so much about cost, and I wanted to just divert the question to my next question to Kyle. How has it been for you? Because I see everyone rocking your stuff. I see people killing it in your designs. I watch TV 24, and I'm like, that's Kyle, because you just created such a statement that when I see your piece, I would know that it's yours, right? So how has it been for you, like, after the competition and, from the competition till about now with the whole situation in regards to sales?
I love how you said that, that when you see a piece of mine, you could recognize that it is mine. And building my brand and being Cal Devasi, that was one of the things that I focused on to ensure that my brand, you could tell out of the crowd anywhere I cannot be present, and you could be like, that is a Cal Devasi. I kind of dropped the rest. Like I didn't want to look like anyone else who's doing print, and I think I've accomplished that. Like, thank God. Post African Fashion Week, my focus was more so on doing red carpets and nurturing my craft, and more so designing instead of going out in the market and selling. So I did a lot more styling, and dressing celebrities and people for red carpets and events more so. So that was what it was. Like African Fashion Week, I think the platform and showcasing my work there opened up, put me in rooms I was not expecting to be in. I did events and I was awarded for things that I would not imagine in a million years. So like I'm wherever for that. But yeah, it was more so, my focus was more so on perfecting my craft and just having design that stood above the rest and not look like anyone else. So I took that time to do that. Less focus. And then now, I am so grateful for COVID. I that's a weird answer, but I'm thankful.
Like you're happy for the time that you've had, like, to yourself, right? I understand that part.
Because I've had a lot of my friends tell me that, Kyle, you need a break. And I've been working since African Fashion 2015 till now, nonstop. And I always tell them, if I break, I feel like I'll be losing my spot. I'll be losing my place. Although you can't lose what's yours, but I feel like consistency puts you in the places that you need to be. And I felt like if I took a break, then I'll be breaking that consistency, and I would not continue nurturing my craft. So with this like pandemic and with this what's going on right now in the world, I was so thankful that I had the time to pause. And I've been doing a lot of just me. I've been doing some work here and there, but more so resting and just nurturing my craft in a different way. Feeding into it in ways that I was not able to when I was going, because it was event after event, order after order, and I do everything custom. So, and it's me doing it. So I was burnt out. And like, I get to build on me. I get to nurture my craft some more. I get to feed into my craft some more. I get to view my different way and fit in different goals that I have, like short-term goals as a long-term goals, instead of like just running and like, and now I could jog, you know? And I'm
yeah. I love that. I love how you literally talked about how for you it was a moment to perfect your craft, because then you have found that people actually love this thing that you're creating. Because at times people find it hard to create because they want to know if people would actually find value in it. And in your case, you saw that people actually loved what you were doing, and they were like, and you're like, you know what? For me to then keep putting out, I need to make sure that I'm perfecting my craft.
yeah,
And I
and
love
also,
that.
you know, and also feeding me instead of like putting out. And now I'm working. I'm not sure if that you've been following my journey thus far from this year. I'm working from a different space and place. Before, what drove my creativity was tragedy, and I took every tragic event in my life, and I've had a lot, and I just turned it into something beautiful. I call it my butterfly effect. That from the cocoon, from the caterpillar into the cocoon and to the butterfly. Every tragic event, I just saw beautiful and let it translate into clothing, something beautiful, my armor. Now that I am no longer working from that place, because I had a moment of myself and said, if I continue working from a place of tragedy, I will forever have tragic events in my life. And that is something that none of us want. So now I'm working from a place of peace and a place of happiness, a place of solemn. So it's a lot harder to tap into that place creatively. Like, I feel like most amazing creatives work from a dark place. And that's, I don't know, that's a source.
I think in a sense, right, it's more so what you decide to then fuel that creativity. Are you gonna, because if you've always known, building and creating from tragic events, now you can now decide and say, okay, you know what, like I would rather just build because I would rather focus on the positives, right? So and that brings me to my next question for Sadie. Like, for Sadie, like, what actually inspired your creation? Because I know that you've been creating, and you create like limited masterpieces. Like, you don't just have like a robust collection. You have like items that stand out. They're just masterpieces on their own. What was what inspired you, or what gave you that drive to keep creating? Like, what inspired the creation process for you? Like, after the competition, and how it's affecting you now. What's your main focus?
Where should I start? When it comes to like those masterpieces, as you mentioned, to me, I always want to see everybody different. Like, if I see that person love to go like clubbing, for an example, I always want to make sure that they have that kind of outfit. They can just take it there. When they're done there, it's done.
Okay, so you're creating based on the person, or where they are, or what they're doing. Like, if they're going for a gala, you're creating for them to look like royal. If they're going for like a date, you're creating a look that's
correct.
Okay, I see. So and so after the competition, like, how was it for you in the industry?
Honestly, after the competition, I'll be honest, it was so hard for me to try to focus, because when it comes to like African fashion, there's competition going on, right? Like a lot. So it was so hard for me to try to focus, and I was just like a newbie. I just graduated from George Brown, and I just went to the competition. Boom, I won #1. I'm like, oh, okay.
That's amazing. Like, your first competition, boom. That's amazing. That's amazing.
So yeah, it was really complicated for me in the beginning, but later on I started calming down myself and try to relax and just try to see my own vision, and that's how I overcome to where all these beauties are.
And that's amazing. I
love how you mentioned the fact that there is a lot of competition right now, because a lot of times, like, we believe like, okay, African fashion is just the way it is just because, but no, we understand that it's unique in the sense that everyone who ends up, dipping into African fashion or using African prints to make has to understand that everyone's eyes are on you. Like everyone is looking. Everyone wants to know what makes you different, because we're all using prints. And I find that because it's such a new product that's coming in, it's not really that new, but now people are leveraging off of African fashion. It just goes to show that what makes you unique isn't the print itself, but it's it's your designs, the way you make it, your brand itself. That's what makes you unique. And now having to sell that is like, how, right? How do I sell that? What price do I give to it, right? So it's a lot of different things that you have to, put into context before you start, diving into sales or revenue. And I like how you were transparent about how it's hard, because it is hard.
Yeah,
It is hard
definitely.
to start something new, number one. And number two, it is also really hard to just assume that the industry is going to accept you easily, like just very freely, and you're going to be making so much more than once you're excited. I'm definitely going to make so much money from this. Obviously everyone loves my designs, but that you've seen what it takes, right? You've seen what people are looking at. People are not too forgiving. I feel like people are not too forgiving when it comes to African fashion. It's either you or you know what I mean? So I love that. And my next question then would be to Miss Veda. I would say for you, how has it been? Because I know you've done fast fashion where you would make masterpieces like handmade, and then you would also sell like the Western styles, like the skirts and the shirts and the dresses. How has it been for you, like after the competition, and what made you decide to go into fast fashion, to go into creating in bulk and selling in bulk? How was that for you?
Okay, first, before the competition, I knew how to sew like very well, but I didn't know how to get out there, like how to start my business, you understand? So when I had the opportunity to go to African Fashion Week and I won, seeing like a lot of people like my stuff, I'm like, oh my God, so they love my things. For the first time, I was like really surprised. I'm like, you know what, I can do this as a career. But before, when I did the show, I was like, I'm just doing it for fun, I was not really serious. And then after that, I started making things like most of my stuff that I make, they're more safe. I don't go extra like other people, they go extra. I'm always scared to go extra. So I'm into church, wedding, party. I don't have more of the clubby, but I can make all that. If you notice on my collection, when I do my fashion shows, like after I won, I have all kinds. I have some jumpsuits, I have dresses, I have kids, I have everything. So I'm capable of doing all that kind of styles. But the thing is, I don't like about me that I don't have like specific outfit. When you see, this is Miss Bed, like how you see Kadim. When you see those cut, the way he cut his
From
stuff,
far away.
Kadim, you understand? But me, I'm safe. I do anything. Somehow I realize that the way, because I'm doing that, is because I want money. You understand? Someone bring me a picture. I want this dress. I'm like, okay, so amount. I'm like, okay, I'll do it. So I forgot myself. I kept doing that. I was wasting a lot of time. Instead of focusing myself, come up with something as people will know, like this is Miss Veda's, I focus on making money, so I'm making people bring me pictures. Sometimes someone bring you a picture of a model and the person is like 14 size, size 14. You're like, okay, I'll try my best. So I found out that I waste so much time, but now I'm focusing on what Miss Veda is what to bring out there.
If I could interject to what she was saying, I think, Ms. Veda, I think that when I could tell a Ms. Veda when I see your styles are like, it is for a woman. Like you create for a woman. And like, that is one of the things that I love about seeing your work, is that how you accentuate a woman. Like, a woman, like you could dress a grown woman, you could dress a younger girl. Like you have the ability to create for a woman. And just to jump onto what you were saying about if someone brings you a photo, great.
That's what I went to school for.
Yes.
My job is just look at you, to design for you, to choose the fabric for you, and to sketch it. I'm done. I'm not supposed to be sitting and making dresses and stepping on some machine.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
What that does is I would speak to all other designers. I don't know if you do that, but one of the things that I refuse to do with my brand is that do not come to me as a customer and bring me a look at can you make this for me. That is disrespectful to me.
I don't do that anymore. Yeah, I don't do that anymore. I need to focus on me. And another thing I realized that in industry.
Yes, sketching, creating, like coming up with the concept. There's so much work that we put into designing that to just bring it to someone else and say, can you make that?
Yeah,
you could be inspired by that.
Yeah.
But we should never recreate someone else's work unless that is
and the person is expecting you to do 100%. Sometimes they get upset, oh, I don't look like this. I'm like, it's not my dress. I'm just trying to do what I'm not supposed to do, you know? And
respectful.
Okay, so perfect. Like I was saying, I was just talking about branding, right? Because we're all discussing about how it's like as a designer, you either have to choose, either you want to design and create or you want to just sell, right? So I believe we left it off on that based on the last conversation. And my next question now is to you, Kwale. What have you then decided? What is it for you? Are you banked on creating, or are you looking to just make sure you sell your designs? Because I know when I see a Ni Kwale masterpiece, I know when I see, and I'm like, this is definitely Ni Kwale. And it's brilliant because you've been in the industry for not so long, and you've been able to like nail a look that when people see it's like definitely Ni Kwale. Are you dumb? Like that's the Ni Kwale. That's my language. But my question then to you is, I understand that branding is key, because what I've noticed is with Gadi, with Kyle, and I know with this Beta, she makes stuff for like, African women. You can see like the items are like, curvy. And for you as well, like I know when I see your brand now, have you decided if you're looking to create to sell, or you're still looking to create to make a statement for all these fashion shows?
Honestly, I look to make statements all the time. Like I really to lose the creative side of like what I'm doing, It's just I feel like I get in this conflict with myself to either sell or create. And I've come to the terms that like I really just don't want to lose my creativity, because like what happens when you start to realize that you want to sell, you start to forget about what you like and what you want to do and what you want to put out into the world. And then you're just kind of like being a slave to the industry. Like I don't want to lose what I love in order to gain money. You know what I mean? Exactly. Like if the money comes later on, then like
you're right.
Like, I truly believe that if you create to the point where like nobody can tell you anything about your brand, nobody can tell you, oh, this, that, or the other, then you'll make all the money in the world later. But it might not be now that people will start to appreciate what you're doing because they can't get it anywhere else.
That's me. I focused on the money. I forgot on the branding myself. Yeah.
No, yeah, exactly. Okay. No, that's okay too, though. Like sometimes.
Yeah, that's okay too. Yeah.
Like sometimes it's good to do the fashion for the people, because like right now African fashion is such a trend. Even though it's been out here, like it's been a thing forever, but like it's like starting to become the new trend, like more woke or whatever. But like people love to have like the African clothes, and like if they can get it instantly, we still need that. We still need the people who want to have it.
One thing I realized, you may have a talent, but if you don't have a business, like your mind is basically not into business, you have to have a business mind for you to mind both. Like I had more talent, but business-wise, I wasn't that good. So I kind of messed up there.
Yeah, I love how I love how Miss Beta came up with the talking about business, right? When because we know that everyone is a creative. Like all of you guys here, you guys are creative, right? And I understand that everyone has their strengths, and for you guys, I believe your strength is in making those like beautiful items, right? Now, when you now start thinking about business, right? You're thinking, okay, can I run this as a business? At times, I find that not everyone is is not everyone is great at business, but they're great at creating. Because then you don't have that mindset of how a business should run, because your idea is
how to run your business, how to run it. Yes.
Yeah. So I find that, like, I think, like, that's another thing that people, reasons that people shy away from buying from African brands is because they believe that there's a level of mediocrity that is, you know, aligned with African fashion, and you know, there are lots of businesses out there, lots of brands out there that are trying to, you know, shut that narrative down. But like, what role do you find that you're playing currently in regards to that stigma? Do you find that you are actually standing and, you know, making sure that your business ethics are on point, so that when people are contacting you, you're available, or you're making sure you're setting the right expectations? Do you find that you are on the right side of that conversation? Do you find that you're the one that's making sure that African brands get a good name, African brands get that positive light? Because now everyone says, oh, Africans, they have this idea that it's not going to be good, it's not going to be great, it's just going to be whatever. Because people say things like, oh, it's an African fashion brand. Of course, that's how they are. But you know, what role are you playing in making sure that we get rid of that talk, that people are not seeing African fashion brands as, you know, unattainable or hard to work with, or it's, you know, really bad business, you know, ethics? What are you doing? I'll just start off with Kadeem. How, like, for you, do you find that you're on the side where you're trying to get rid of that idea that African fashion brands are not great brands to work with?
Well, if I could be completely honest, I do believe, because, as Nicole said, that it is African fashion's become a trend. I see a lack in creativity. I see a lack in, like, everyone who, there's like, every platform that you go on and you see African inspired designers, African, I don't know how to call it, how you refer to them. Everyone's doing the maxi skirts, the wrap dresses, it's the same thing over and over. How do you claim to be a designer and creating
something different?
Something that, like, everyone else is doing it.
I guess would be, those guys would be more fast fashion, not necessarily creating.
But still, if I could be into the fast fashion, but what makes me different? Like, what makes you want to come to me when everyone else is doing a wrap dress? Like,
that's what we should focus more. Yeah, we should focus on what I just said.
I could do a wrap dress, and I've done 1,012 wrap dresses.
Yeah.
But what makes that wrap dress make someone come to me? And like, I don't think I've had the issue with trying to break a stigma, because, like, I feel like my brand is already breaking a stigma.
And this is in regards to being creative, right? Like, making sure, because I feel like even in the fashion industry, we have the Zaras, and we also have the H&Ms, we also have the Urban Planets, we also have the Ardeen's. So there are levels to this, right? Not everyone is going to be a Yeezy. Not everyone is going to be like all these brands that are, you know,
when you see those brands, they're all like the Zara's, the H&M, the Urban Behavior, Urban Planet, the Sirens. All of them sell the same thing.
They do.
Quality one, and their interpretation of whatever that is. That is the reason why, for instance, I don't know what's the last time I shopped. I don't do anything other than my brand. Yes, I only wear my brand. So, but if I do go shopping, out of the H&M's and Zara, I would go for the Zara. Zara just looks a little more,
right.
The quality just looks a little more.
I like
there's a more attention to detail.
I like how you literally just said you said I would rather go to a Zara than, you know, an H&M because of quality, right? And I find that that's one thing that we know, that's how we know that there's some brands that people would go to, some African fashion brands that people would go to rather than others, because they know there's a sense of creativity. I'm sure people have come to you and Kadeem and be like, oh, I love your brand. But now in regards to you being accessible, do you find that for business wise, do you find that you would rather have someone helping you run the business side? Because I know you must have like 10,000 messages like, hey Kyle, I want to wear stuff. Oh my gosh, Kyle, I really love this design. And so how do you find that in regards to making yourself accessible like a Zara? Because I can find Zara if I go to the mall, right? So how do you find that it's working for you in that sense where, yes, I know what I'm creating is magic. I know what I'm creating is quality. Now, am I accessible? Are people able to come to find me when they need to find me? You have a website, all that stuff.
That is actually an amazing, one second, an amazing question. Because I will say that right now that I'm in again, I love quarantine. I'm living quarantine. But I'm in the process of not rebranding, but restructuring Kaldravasi. And like back, I would say 2018, I had a team. I had an amazing team. I thought was an amazing team. And it so worked out that I realized that I connected better with more feminine energy on my team. Like it helps with my creativity. I in a world where I see me being what I want to be, I will only have to create. I cannot do the administrative aspects. Nothing administration. I want absolutely nothing to do with. I'm a creative. I'm a creator. That's like when I wake up, the first thing I want to do is create. I don't want to answer an email. I do not want to. No, I absolutely, that drives me nuts. So I do have.
And I understand that, yeah.
I do have a creative director and a manager. She does both. So she's into doing all the most of PR stuff and answering emails and doing all of the structure of it and ensuring that I am on task. It is, I'll say, although it's my company, but it's nice to have someone running my company.
Oh yeah, that's me too.
And
I love that. Like give me a boss. Like when I wake up, I want to have the task for the day. Say, hey Kyle, have such and such who reached out that they want blah blah blah. And instead of me having to dip into my emails and do that, because the moment I do that, it stifles my creativity like instantly. Like if I read one email, that is a day gone by. I'm not doing nothing.
I understand.
That is the honest truth. Me just reading the emails and me just going through that, and I'm just like, I'm already in a place where I feel defeated. Like I do not want to read emails, and a lot of people say that that's where you start off, and that's what happens. But you have to know your strengths and your weakness.
And I love that. Sorry for cutting you. I love that you literally said the word that came, like you just took it out of my mouth. The word was structure, right? I feel like as creatives, you come from a space of making sense out of no sense. You take things that and then just piece them together and you create masterpieces, right? So and I find that when you now want to structure something, if you start thinking of a business, it's more of, okay, first of all, I'm a creative and I need to understand how to get this business together, but then that takes away from you putting that energy towards your brand, right? So I love how you talked about restructuring and how you talked about how you have someone now who helps you answer those emails, who helps you let you know, hey, here's your day, here's your plan for today. This person is requesting an item. And that is what I think the African fashion industry needs, a firm hand on structure, because then we will not be a laughing stock. People will then, come to respect the industry, because I find that is the problem that we're having. I feel like what I've been doing with my business is trying to make sure that African fashion is like African businesses are mainstream. What I mean mainstream, I mean like I want to make sure that you can feel the same availability of access that you would to Caldervasi like you would to Zara. Because then we are now I want to make sure that we get on the same playing field. And for us to get on the same playing field, we need to be more disciplined. We need to be more structured. And then this
it is there. I honestly, I love like everything that you're saying is speaking to my heart, speaking to my soul, like speaking to me. Like we need to not just structure. We need to stop accepting nonsense. We need to stop accepting mediocrity.
That is
we need to stop accepting everybody.
And the people who are supposed to support us, they're the ones who are bringing us down. You are telling someone a price of a dress. The person is like, "Oh, that's too much."
Oh, I don't have that problem.
And I found that.
Oh, I'm gonna wear this dress only one time. You're like, so it's not up to me. It's my price. So instead of supporting you, buy that dress for that price you're giving the person. The person want to start bargaining like they're buying tomato on the market.
Miss Vega, the difference is, and I feel like why I don't get that problem is we have to come out of the mindset that we are seamstresses and tailors.
Thank you.
You are paying for my craft.
Yes.
Like my like a day-to-day running with me and a client. You pay me for a consultation. If I have to sit with you for 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, you're paying me for that time. If you do not want the item after that, you have no wasted my time because you're paying me for my time. Like we need to get out of the we are African.
I think the problem is
print.
I feel like
it's the people who are making the stuff for.
Yeah, I feel like
for. You know, most of the people are making the stuff. They're Africans. You know how we do.
I feel like it's different. I feel like when we start having conversations like that, right? We need to understand that it's different when you say it's the people, because you should understand that everybody is different. You do have Africans out there who are willing to pay top dollar for your stuff, and you do have those out there as well that don't actually. That don't actually exactly. And then we have people that don't actually care for that because the mindset is that I can't get this made somewhere else, right? And then
I said go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Go to somewhere else, period.
And
if you could get there, don't come to me.
And I feel like I understand like it's so stressful, but we need to talk about logic. We need to understand what do I mean by logic? We need to see it as African fashion is still being seen as on a specific level. Now, our aim is to make sure we get to mainstream. What does mainstream? Mainstream means that you can African fashion will now be easily accessible, where the next person that comes to you does not have the need to look to talk prices with you, because now there are set prices. You're coming into my store, you're buying things from my inventory at this specific price. Now we are looking at
my style, my price. Everything is nice about me. Buy it or leave it.
No, hold on. What? And I will share this. Can you go to Louis Vuitton and say, "Hey, I do not want to pay that price"? Can you go to Chanel and say? Can you go to any other brand and say that? Do those prices go on discount? No, so stop coming to because we're black to want to depreciate and devalue our craft. Stop doing it. Period.
That's true. Yeah.
I understand that. And you know,
Cal on a fight today. Cal gonna beat somebody.
Call off name, Yvonne. You need to call names. Say, hey, okay, so and so person. Okay.
Trying to explain.
You need to call names.
Just give me 1 second.
No, it's crazy.
Is you a break?
No, you cannot go to, and I tell any client, I barely have a client who asks me about like price.
Okay, guys. So this is what we're gonna do. This conversation is getting like heated, and I love it. I love the fact that we are actually digging deep into the conversation. So what we're gonna do moving forward is, please just talk when I assign you.
Yes, that's fine. But you know what? Yvonne, one thing, when you assign someone, don't let them for long, right? You have how they do the tell all. Just
I wish.
I know it's still recording, but we're gonna just get back to things. So this is what I wanted to say, guys. So I understand exactly what everyone is talking about.
We are boiling.
And I love. And I love that. I love that we see ourselves as Louis Vuitton because we see quality. Now, we want to get to that same level, right? Our aim is to make sure that we attain a level of discipline. We attain a level of uniqueness, and making sure that there is really your brand is then seen as a Louis Vuitton. I don't want to be contacting you and I don't have access. It's like you need to make sure that I want to make sure that I walk as I want to be seen. Like I want when people see me, I want them to make sure that they're seeing me on that standard as a Louis Vuitton, right? So that's what we're trying to do. At African Fashion Week, we want to make sure that we give a platform to brands so that they can see that this brand is something that it's worth investing in, right? So I find that that's what we're trying to do, and we're gonna keep doing that. My last question, because I know we spent like a whole hour, but this is where everyone
gets
almost.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So my last question then is, what is your? Because I understand now that everyone has space to create. Like you've had space to create. Now we're coming out of quarantine slowly, and things are getting back to normal slowly, God willing. What is your takeaway from this? Like you could just share what you're looking to take away. Like, how am I going to come out of this? How is my brand going to come out of this? Am I looking to create a platform? And you just give us like a couple of things. Okay, I never used to do this, and I know I want to attain this level, in the industry. And these are the things I'm going to start doing to make sure that I get to that level. You know what I mean? Like, I'll probably start with me. Like, as we all know, I don't know if everyone knows, I run a small business as well. As well as I'm part of African Fashion Week. But I run a small business that highlights African businesses. And for the longest time, I was just running on passion. I was super excited about everything. I was super excited about how the industry was growing, that I never for one second decided to pause and create a structure, something that Kadeem talked about earlier on today. And for me right now, I'm working on a structure, and God willing, it's been perfect because I know exactly what I'm looking to achieve with my brand, right? And now my question then to you is, like, how am I doing that? I'm making sure that I have, things in place about time management. That was a weakness before, but now it's becoming a strength because I've put, specific, things in place. I'm teaching myself. I'm trying to understand. So where I was weak before, I'm making sure I'm gaining knowledge to get to that level, because we've talked about things that we hate. We've talked about things that are making us angry, and how can we then help ourselves come out of the rut, right? So I'll probably start off with Kadeem, because he was like on fire. So Kadeem, you can tell us, what you're how you're looking to come out of this whole, quarantine, where you're looking to go, where you're looking to take Kyle Gervasi to. This is what I see. This is where I see Kyle Gervasi, and these are the steps I'm putting in place to get to that point.
Well, I would like to start off with, like, it's where I've always seen Kyle Gervasi. Like, that's why, I named my brand Kyle Gervasi, because 10, 15, 20 years, 50 years from now, that name could always resonate. I feel like it doesn't expire. Where I see my brand as a household name, what I want out of this quarantine, what I want to take away is, what I want. Oh God,
coming out of it. Yeah, no, I understand. Yes. I feel you.
Yes, it's like a lot of people don't know, and probably you guys don't know. You'll see me and you'll see my brand, you'll see my creativity, and you'll think that there's a level of confidence. I am very insecure with my brand.
Words have power, my friend. Words have power. You have to switch that. I'm no longer insecure.
I know,
I'm
that's what
more
I'm taking.
confident.
So quarantine time is it's because, and I will share this. This is a piece of me. Like, look at me giving y'all things that I've realized about myself. Because I'm self-taught, there's a level of not being enough, and that trickles down into my personal life as well. Like, sometimes my brand, yes, I do great work, but I still feel like it is not enough. And it was something that I had to work on myself to know that I am enough. And my brand is enough, but it could go somewhere else. So I've been working on again, what I said, perfecting my craft. So there's more a level of confidence that I am secure within what I'm doing, and I'm not like, I could kill a male silhouette. Like, give me a male piece to do, and I will annihilate. I feel like because I'm not a woman, that I filling up women, like getting a woman's body, although it appears that I do, but that is just me manipulating the fabric and stuff to look that way. But I was not confident enough to know that I could have captured a woman's essence in a clothing. So, like, just stuff that working on things that made me more confident within that. So instead of working on male pieces this quarantine, I've been working on a lot of female and structuring female pieces, and you know, recreating blocks and just doing so that coming out of quarantine, that I will be unstoppable.
Are you coming with a plus size, Kadim? I know you're scared of plus size.
Well, I am trickling over to the plus size. It's
okay. Well.
I just drank whatever mannequin I had.
Don't be stressing, Kadim. No, I understand, and no, I love how you said that you're looking to come out of this quarantine more versed with, you know, making those women clothes, and also more confident. And you are confident, my friend. You are confident. You can do it. You're gonna kill it. And I'm sure gonna be like, guys, I'm wearing a Calgevasi masterpiece. It just fits perfectly.
Always. No, there's never a fit issue, honey. Period. No, I would cry. I would die if there was a fit issue. No, I would cry. No, the fit is always.
And I love that. Thank you, honestly, so much for sharing, Kadim. I truly love how you talked about how you were so open and transparent. And I believe that when people watch this, I believe that they would connect and then also understand that it could be more convicting, where it's like, okay, I used to do this, but now I am looking to be better. So I listen to podcasts a lot, and there's this one thing that he said, like one person, Rob McClellan from Leader Tribe, he said, you don't have to be Superman, fam, but you have to, your aim is to make sure that you're 1% better than you were yesterday.
Yes.
You're not looking to achieve greatness right away, but I'm better than I was yesterday. And that's just the beauty of everything. So my second person to answer that is Miss Beta. What are you looking to achieve? Because you talked a little bit about how you were focusing on fast fashion because you wanted to make money, and that's okay. But now you want to make a brand. You want to make sure that you have, people can see Miss Beta and know that that is a Miss Beta, you know, piece, right? So what things are you looking to come out of this? How are you looking to come out of this quarantine with your brand, and how are you going to get to that level?
That is a plan, just to rebrand the whole thing. I just wanted to brand it. And one thing I did, what I'm happy with, I took a course for 6 months that, like, yeah, it's a business course, just how to handle my own stuff, right? Because before I'm like, I need to hire someone to be doing this stuff for me, but I'm like, you know, I can do it myself. So I took a business course for 6 months. Now I'm good. I'm working on a new collection that's coming out, Miss Beta collection. Oh, it's gonna be the best. And that's hopefully by September it will be on, and my new website, everything is gonna be new, and everybody's gonna love it, and I'm so excited. And I'm gonna have 2 pages on my website. I'm gonna have ready-made, and I'm gonna have like custom. And no bargaining anymore. My price, my one. My style.
Okay.
That's new
Yo,
me.
Ginger,
That's
I
how
love that.
I learned. That's how I learned so far. Because Yvonne, as you know, 2014 to today is so long. People don't see me out there. I remember 2015, 16, 17. When you go online, you just click African dresses. You'll see me, Zina K, all over. You understand? And now you type in, you don't see Miss Beta, because what people are doing right now, some people go to Africa, they just make clothes, bring it here, put online and sell it. Yeah, they can even cut the fabric. You understand? They don't know nothing about sewing, but they just go there. It's easy. They just bring it here, they sell it. So you'll be sitting down on the chair, cutting fabric a whole night, one dress. Well, someone can go there and just cut with that quantity of, you know, which is somehow
I love that. I love that.
And the prices is so low. Another thing is, I came to realize that I have a lot of my styles in Chinese websites. I'm doing my dress for $60. When I go on Chinese website, I see my model, my style, my dress for $12.99. I get so disappointed. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. The thing is, what we could do, because if you think of it though, guys, if someone is looking to copy your stuff, it just means that you've made it. That's number one. Number two, there are also brands like that. If you look at the Western world, there are brands that you can buy. Shane. You can buy same thing that you buy at Zara, so cheap at Shane. Now, the reason it hurts us more is because you would see your exact collection. They would even use the images that you have, but that shouldn't bother you, right? Because what you're trying to achieve is unattainable. Because if someone was to buy that item in comparison to buying it from you, when they receive it, have you seen those comparisons? What I bought versus what I got.
I read the comment. I'm sorry, I read the comments. What people are getting once they order their items, I'm like, yes, they don't get what they were ordering.
Exactly. So that part shouldn't bother you. But I love the fact that you shared that you took a course for 6 months to get your business in order. You already know exactly where you're going to go. You already thought, okay, you know what? I don't like this part, but I want to make sure that I get to this level. And for me to get to this level, I need to acquire knowledge. And that is just brilliant. And you told us here, you're gonna get 2 collections. You're gonna have ready-made, you're gonna have couture, you're gonna have this, and let the church say amen, because it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen, sis. And that's I love that. I love the supporting nature of everything. I love that everyone is just all for us to grow, because if one of us grows, all of us grow, because it's the whole industry, right? And I love that. And I pray that it works out. My next person, Mr. Fresh Empire. Okay. So you tell us what you're trying to do with Fresh Empire, where are you trying to see it after the quarantine, and how are you gonna get to that level?
Honestly, I have to thank quarantine first though, because I realized that I was having a lot of lack of time management back in the days. Yeah, so that thing, it was really hard for me. But at this time, due to quarantine and everything, I came to realize that if I take one step after another, I'll manage and I'll make it work. I'm the only person behind everything, so I have to make everything like you see how Kadeen says, Kyle says right there has somebody to answer emails and all that stuff. You're lucky, because some of us, we need to keep responding to everybody by ourselves, calls, all that stuff. It's really hard. It's really hard. So yeah, so my takeaway for this, it's time management, and I can't wait. I can't wait to come back to see that glow.
And you will. And I find that one thing too is also reaching out and then saying, hey, how did you do it? How can I do it? How can I achieve that? And then Cal has shared that I actually had to bring someone, because he's all about creating. He needed to get someone to get the admin part in order so that he can create in peace. Because if you're creating and then you're realizing that someone's messaging you like 10,000 times and you're like, you know what, this is, eating up my space, just having that one person delegating, right? For you, then it's different, right? Because everyone's different. Everyone has a different situation, a different struggle. For you, it's all about making sure I can manage my time. I can also then say, okay, you know what? This is how much time I have today. This is what is on my plate for today. I'm going to plan my day accordingly, right? So, and I love how you said that.
I could definitely offer a suggestion to you. What I used to do before having someone to do that now is that I used to have either a day for emails or a time. So if it's at 11, 3, and 6 p.m., that's when I check my emails. That's when I respond to messages. That's when I do that. And that is your set time. You let your clients know between those times, that's when I answer emails. That's when I respond to messages. That's when I answer calls. So it's not overwhelming you. We don't have to run someone who sends a message. Sometimes pretending to be built, like people, like I feel like people like things they cannot reach. And not to say cannot reach, but it's just like you do not have to leave what you're doing to run to respond to a client. If they really want to be there, like they want you. If they could have gone to someone else, they'd have gone to someone else. They want you. Just not waiting for time, but have set times. Like I was 11, 3, and 6. You could maybe do 5 or what time. I don't know what time how your day is planned, but just have a set an hour a day to respond to emails. And
that sounds great. That sounds great.
I love that. I love
basically
that. And
follow your daily plan. Okay.
Yes. I love that.
Okay.
To round us off, and then afterwards I'll just give you guys some tips. To round us off, we have the Miss Eugenia of Nikwale. Okay, sis, tell us what you're looking to achieve out of this quarantine with Nikwale, what you're looking to see Nikwale, and how you're going to get there.
Yeah, so I feel like my biggest struggle as Nikwale was just to figure out what I wanted to do as a brand and how to be able to manage my creativity and the business aspect of it all, right? And so I feel like during quarantine, I had my days where I was down and I had my days when I was up. But like now that it's like coming to an end, like I'm realizing what I actually want to do and how I can go about my business without losing the creativity, but still being a businesswoman, you know? And yeah, like my plan is to eventually obviously be, I don't want to say Louis Vuitton because he has like, you know, I don't want to say they don't have nothing on me, but like we're not those people, you know? Like I want to be Nikwale. And that little girl, that little black girl next like a couple years from now is going to be like, I want to be like Nikwale, you know? I haven't really seen that in the industry, you know? And so, yeah, like I have like maybe one designer that I look up to as that I think is like a high fashion, which is Loza Maleombo. I don't even know if anybody knows who she is.
Also French.
Yeah, she's French, and like her brand is very like, it's just amazing, and like you can tell that it's her piece, right? And so many celebrities have worn her stuff, but you don't mention like Loza Maleombo like the way you would mention Louis Vuitton, you know what I mean? So yeah, my goal is to eventually become that Nikwale woman that like everybody else is mentioning in their house too. And
love your stuff though. You can know that's Nikwale is somebody's wedding.
Thank you.
Guarantee.
You look like you put so much work on your stuff. When I look, I'm like, wow, how did she do that? You understand?
Thank you.
Congratulations on that.
Thank
you. Wow.
I definitely want to like make sure that I don't lose sight of where I'm trying to go, because like honestly our culture is so beautiful and I feel like it's been taken advantage of, taken for granted. And I just feel like as a collective, all of us here, like right now, this conversation that we're having is so important, and I feel like it will encourage other people to have the conversation between their groups and stuff like that, not just in fashion but like as Black people in general. And so yeah, like I'm just excited for the future of our culture. And yeah,
another thing I want to say is like we should start like Yvonne, if you start like participating, as she did New York Fashion Week, right? We should have done like Paris Fashion Week, London Fashion Week, all that. We should have done that to get more exposure, right? Waiting for clients only online, you're gonna be sitting here forever. Nobody's gonna know you outside.
That's actually how I was looking to end off. Like I was looking to end off like with this. So I'm just gonna give like a few tips I believe we all need to succeed. Number one, right now we are in a digital era. That means you need to make sure you have an online presence, and it needs to be live. It needs to be active. You don't want to send people to a dead page. Last time you posted was 2018. Stop that, ASAP Rocky.
Yeah,
We need to make sure that your online presence is on point, because people want to know who you are and they want to see where you're doing this. Like now, the second thing is having a website. Now, a website is very key because people, like when you go on someone's Instagram, it's cool and all, but where can I buy their stuff? You may even be selling other items where people can then just know where to get you. And there are lots of opportunities out there. Like there are lots of businesses that you can get into. There are even ones that are African owned, right? So if you want to know all these brands, girl, you know where I am. You know where I'll be. I can connect you, because I want to make sure that you have the online presence. That's one. Number two, I feel like number two is so important. Discipline and understanding that if I do not work, nothing else is gonna work. If I'm not like very disciplined and very strict with what I'm doing, nothing else is gonna work. Like Kyle mentioned. Like Kyle mentioned, it's Daddy's fault. It's such a fault.
I correct myself right away. Remember, I said to them like,
like you're giving people my dummy. You're like giving people my dummy.
Like Paul had mentioned, time blocking, making sure that you're blocking out time. And at times I put reminders. I'm always setting reminders. Yvonne, it's time to pray. Yvonne, it's time to work on the website. Yvonne, it's time to look at like the statistics for your analytics. Yvonne, like I keep reminding myself of things to do so that I can get into that routine of always making sure that my time is not wasted. My time, I'm not just whiling away scrolling. Yes, I have like a time block for rest and chill, where I just go online and just watch funny videos. So it's like you need to make sure that you are very disciplined. If you're not disciplined, nothing's going to work. So number one, online presence. Number two, structure and discipline. And number three, which is pretty much like the last one that like, well, the overall, like the overhead of everything is knowing when to ask for help. Because you cannot do that all the time.
Pride.
Actually, that's true.
Asking for help.
Like, and that's really sad. But everybody needs help, and that's okay, because we are constantly, slowly and steadily, we're constantly fostering a space where you can come and ask for help without guilt. You can come and ask for help without shame, because everybody needs help. And I find that the whole basis of African Fashion Week is to give that prop, is to give you that push, is to give you that initial push so that you can just go and show the world what it is that you have, right? And I'm so thankful for African Fashion Week, because if I didn't come on this platform, if I didn't actually get recognized by this platform, I wouldn't be where I am today, right? They gave me that initial drive that I needed to grow in this industry, as well as all of you, like you've mentioned, right? So number one, your online presence needs to be key, my friends. Number two, self-discipline is very key. Those are three of many points. But number three, you have to make sure that you ask for help when you need it.
Sure.
Because I want you to grow. I want Nikwale to be Nikwale of the future, where everyone is talking about, oh my gosh, I want to get a Nikwale masterpiece. I want Cal Gervasi to be Cal Gervasi with women plus size, the whole shebang.
All the way.
Like, I want Fresh Empire to be known for, like, he's like, daily, like, showing up and showing out and making sure that he's there and making sure that he's present, right? And then Miss Beta as well with her dreams and her goals. I love it, and I am
the future
just
fashion.
excited. The future of African fashion is starting here, guys, and we decided, and we can keep each other accountable, right? Make sure that you have the right people around you. Seek support, seek help. Make sure that you are disciplined. And actually, this is the last one, I promise. Words have power. Words have power. So what you're speaking, words have power. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So whatever you're speaking over your life, you make sure that it's positive. I will succeed. I can do it. I am going to get there.
That is so
because you don't want to make sure that you're saying things like, if you start saying things like, oh, I can't, I cannot. No, my friend. Shh.
I know.
Impossible.
Switching it to, I can achieve. I am going to get better. I am getting better. And this is how I'm doing it. Perfect.
And
my friend.
Energy and the strong energy, the chemistry and everything combined.
Yes, exactly. You can move mountains, right? So I love that we had this conversation.
Something while your energy or you have your stress and all that stuff. You have to be happy, you understand, for you to be able to come up with something nice.
Exactly. And I'm glad that we had this conversation. Anyone want to give some last words before we end?
I just want to say that throughout my journey, I really realized that words do have a lot of power. Like writing things down have a lot of power. And I feel like no matter how many bad days I've had, days that I've felt down or maybe I can't do this, like the days that I've felt like, oh my God, no, I'm about to be out here, were a lot more, just because I have to realize I'm supposed to be my own biggest supporter, you know? Like as long as you believe in yourself, nothing is impossible. Like if you can dream it, it can happen. It's just a matter of like, how do we get there, you know? Like everybody that we're looking up to right now, they were just like we were when we were our age, you know, like we were our age, you know, or whatever the case may be. But they figured it out. They found out I have to do it this way. I need discipline. I need to get this, that, and that done. And I have to, like, the fear behind what if is so important to let go.
In the industry we are in, it's not like 1, 2, 3. People be making this for 30 years. We just have to hold on and be patient. One day it will be you. You understand?
Yeah.
No.
Love that. How about you, Kyle? Do you have any last words?
I would just say that we need to walk, live, sleep, jog within our purpose. If this is what we're supposed to do, let us do it and stop asking for permission to be great. We are great. We're born to be great. Let's grab it and be that. Stop asking for permission to just be.
Just be.
And stop doubting yourself that, oh my God, they're not going to like it. Not them. It's not about them. It's about you.
And also,
like, there's them.
How about you, Sadie? What's yours?
Honestly, I feel like they said everything, especially when it comes to part of doubting. I know Miss Beta knows me. Like, like when it comes to like fashion shows, I always have that kind of problem. But because she's really close to me, I would say that. So whenever I have that problem, I'm just gonna put like a FaceTime, and when I hear like a stop down, so when I just hang up the phone, I'm like, you know what? Time to grow. Time to grow right now.
We need friends like Miss Beta in our lives to remind us to stop.
But it's about you. Whatever you make, it's about you because you felt it. You slept on it. You woke up on it. You sketch it. You cut it. Then someone comes and say, I don't think you.
Create from within. Like if you felt it within you, express it outwardly. Like stop asking and like stop asking, oh, is this good enough? Like didn't you feel it was good enough? That's why you did it. Stop asking for permission to be great.
Sadly, he's a beginner. Somehow at the time he was asking.
No, but stop thinking that way. I won the student design competition because I wasn't thinking that I was a beginner. Within a year, I went from being a model to being a designer.
I've been there with you. I've been there since you were a model.
And I feel like we're gonna continue this conversation, guys. We're gonna continue the
I'll mute everybody right now. Come here.
You won for a reason. Know that. You won for a reason. You won because it's your thing.
I feel like
let me finish it for you.
We can keep talking for like days, and I love that. I love that how we're so vibrant. We're so excited to get everything going because we understand our worth. We understand how we're going to achieve it, and we're all going to do it. And I wanted to just say a big thank you to all of you for having the time to come here and to have this conversation, because this conversation definitely needed to be had.
Yes. Thank you, Miss Yvonne Ben. Thank you so much.
Thank you
to our host. Thanks for our host, and thanks for the platform.
Oh, thank you for that, guys. I'm taking your advice. I'm taking the 3 steps.
Honestly.
Oh, why do you think I was doing this? I was taking the tips. I was writing